Hey everyone, welcome to this week's conversation. I appreciate you tuning in, and I promise you're going to be glad you did. That's right, you are, because my guest this week is an accomplished actress who also happens to be one of my all-time favorite comedians. You've seen her on AGT, Modern Family, Veep, and comedy clubs all across the country for years. So please welcome to the conversation, Erica Rhodes. Erica, welcome.
Hello.
So glad to have you here. And I'll tell you, folks, we've been having so much fun before we actually started this official conversation. The conversation before the conversation is epic and one I will never
I
forget.
think
So
it should
thank
be
you.
its own podcast, the conversation leading up to the conversation.
I, I agree. I agree. It'll be the first time I've ever done it, and but it will be epic. That's for sure. It will definitely be epic. So, but Erica, I know you've got a lot going on, so I appreciate you taking the time to join me. And we've got a rumor that we're going to have to address that I heard about you maybe coming to a particular place in the next couple of weeks, and I'll come back to that because what I first wanted to do was I had this question I've been wanting to ask you for the longest time. When did you first discover that you had this ability to make people laugh?
I don't really know, to be honest. Some people are like it hit right away, but I guess I did. I started on a radio show called A Prairie Home Companion when I was 13. And so I was in front of a huge audience from a really young
Mm,
age. So found out I could make people laugh around age 13.
wow. Okay. So and music was also part of your life as well, right? You come from a musical family?
Yeah, my mom's a professional violinist. My dad was a clarinetist, but then he retired and became a CPA. Well, didn't retire, but he got MS, so he couldn't, his
Ooh,
pinky stopped working. So then yeah, he became a CPA. But yeah, everyone in my family plays some kind of musical instrument.
wow. And you
I
played the
play
cello
cello.
at one point, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I was a cello major at BU for a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So when was the first time that I know you said you started that radio show when you were 13, which is phenomenal, but when was the first time you decided to get up on stage, get behind a mic, and take a shot at doing stand up?
That was much later. I think I was like 29,
Oh,
so
wow.
I
Okay.
was a late bloomer.
Okay. Now, was there anything in particular that inspired you to go do it?
Just desperation. Just acting wasn't really working out.
Oh man.
It
Well,
was my
that
last stop.
well that's a strong motivator, desperation.
Yes, it's the ultimate motivator. I don't think there's anything better than desperation for motivating somebody.
Were you splitting time, doing the two different things, the acting, I know you just said it wasn't maybe working out, but in terms of that point in your life, were you trying to balance both?
Yeah, I mean, I went to acting school and that was kind of what I thought I was gonna do. And at one point I really wanted to be a serious dramatic actress.
Okay.
But people would always laugh at my voice, so comedy, I would go out for comedic roles, but I got close to booking a bunch of things, but I didn't end up booking anything big. But I did get a bunch of small parts. So, and I still audition for stuff. I did an animation show a couple years ago on Netflix called A Tale Dark and Grim. And yeah, acting to me is like it would be great to do it, but I'm not in that desperate actor mindset because stand-up's become my main thing. So
Yeah.
definitely identify more as a stand-up than an actress now, but I know I
Okay.
can act. So,
Does your approach or preparation process, like, how do they compare in terms of you might have a show coming up in a day or two versus you've got this audition you want to submit a tape for in a day or two? What does the preparation process look like on both sides?
I mean, they're totally different things, So
Yeah.
acting, you learn your lines and you get a motivation and analyze the scene. And for comedy, you're trying to connect to the audience, and it's much more in the moment. And yeah, I just you can't really compare because it's
Yeah.
totally different. But I mean, I guess when I started stand up, I used my acting skills to memorize my jokes, and I was pretty comfortable performing in front of an audience. So I had that. And then both things you want to connect, whether it's to your scene partner or to the audience. So a lot of it's about connecting and
Yeah.
not talking at people. You want to talk to someone and, you know, so I think they're different, but I'm sure the skills lend to each other. But I felt like when I first started stand up, my acting training got in the way a little bit because I would sometimes be like, here are my lines, like delivering the joke, like, here's my perfect joke, So I didn't connect for like the first year when I
Yeah.
started.
And it's interesting. I appreciate you sharing that because I'm thinking maybe the question should be how does one maybe impact the other, as you just kind of said, as opposed to
Yeah.
comparing them. It can help prepare you in terms of maybe having a stage presence or confidence or the ability in memorizing the lines, let's say from a comedian standpoint. But by the same token, maybe it's a little too performative as opposed to being more
Yeah.
conversational.
Yeah, I think you can usually tell when people start as actors and then they get into stand up. Like you can tell at first, the difference between someone who's just talking as themselves versus someone who's performing a
Yeah.
bit. So,
Well, and that's something I do have to talk about, Erica, and that is you mentioned the word connect. And I don't know of too many comedians that I've ever seen who connect better than you do with an audience. Your material is just so relatable and authentic. So, and it just comes off in that same way. So, where does that come from, and what does your writing process look like? How are you able to put together the sets that you do that come off as real and genuine as they do?
thanks. I appreciate that. And I have no idea. I think
Are you just being yourself?
I'm trying to be myself. I mean, I always feel like there's another layer of authenticity I'm trying to get to, so that matters to me to be real.
Mm,
And if I see something where I'm not being real, I get like very cringy. So, yeah, so I appreciate that you say that because sometimes I'm like, I feel like I'm not being real in this moment, or, I analyze it like that a little bit.
yeah.
As long as I care about what I'm saying, my problem is if I have a joke that's been around for a while and I don't care about saying it anymore, it's really hard for me to sell it.
Mm,
But then I also have like a weird connection to truth. Like I almost never tell a lie on stage. And I know a lot of comics go the opposite where they're like, you can embellish, you can do this. And I'm like, I have trouble selling false things. So I pretty much everything has at least a kernel of truth, everything
wow.
in fact. So maybe that's why it rings as relatable because people are like, that feels true. They
Yeah.
feel the truth in it,
Well,
So maybe that's what it is.
no, I can definitely see that. And I think the other thing is, as before we turned the recording on, I was telling Erica about how, I had taken a class earlier this year, and I just had this initial respect for what it takes to write, let's say 30, 60 minutes. But I had no idea how difficult it could be just to even write 5 minutes. And then if you translate that into having to remember and deliver 30, 40, 60 minutes, I would think the more real and the more truth, as opposed to, wait, which lie did I tell when? Like it's got to make it easier from a delivery standpoint too.
Yeah, they say it's easier to remember the truth, but yeah, I think it's just hours of doing it. You get more relaxed, and the more
Yeah.
relaxed you are, the more honest and real you can be, I think. Whereas if you're not relaxed, you're going to be pushing. I'm often
Yeah.
paranoid about pushing. I don't like the feeling of pushing. If my voice goes up too high, that's usually means I'm pushing.
Oh wow. Well,
Yeah.
I believe it was Jay Black who I had on earlier this year, and he said that early on, a lot of comedians, you have a tendency you're seeking approval, and you're putting yourself out there and you're seeking approval for those jokes. And
Yeah,
it's when you get to the point where you kind of don't care that there's a different level and deeper connection with the audience, which seemed counterintuitive to me when he first said it. But then I realized, oh man, he's right.
that's true. I actually had a set like that just last night. I was at the Ice House in LA. And I like right before I was like, I don't have anything. I mean, it was a small audience, but it was just like, I don't have any material. And so I just
Huh.
got up and I just felt like I was kind of talking into material and just thinking on my feet. And there was just it just felt very real. And I was getting laughs in very unexpected
Wow.
spots, and it felt really fun for me.
Yeah.
Like when you get off and like somebody, my friend Orlando Leyba, who's a really funny comic, he was like, way to have fun. And that's a comics. I feel like that's a real compliment from another comic. Like, wow, you're
Yeah.
actually having fun now. Usually you don't look like you're having fun at all.
Well,
So yeah.
it's as you say that, I remember someone else telling me that, those first few years, I believe the words were exhilarating and terrifying at the same time. So sometimes it's kind of hard to have fun when you got those competing dynamics going on while you're up there.
Well, I think in the first few years, every set matters so much.
Yeah.
You're like every time you get on stage, you're like, this has to go well, and you put all this pressure. But then after you've done thousands of sets, you're like, I don't care how anything goes anymore. I just want to go home and watch Netflix. Like it becomes more like a job, where you're just like, I
Yeah.
just have to go do a set. You know, so the fun you have to manufacture sometimes. You have to remember, like, I
Hmm.
gotta, I'm doing this for fun. I'm not doing it. Yeah, it's a job, but I have to remember to like it.
Wow. No, that's a
So,
great point. And I can, like I said, in my short time, I'm a grizzled veteran of what, 9 months of trying to do stand up. So, and I've already experienced some highs and lows, and I think that the biggest low was when I kind of blanked out on a couple of lines. And one of the things I learned, because I know you were on the Late Show with Stephen Colbert,
hmm.
and when you were there, did you meet Paul Mercurio when you were on the show? His warm-up comedian. He's usually there 3 or 4 nights a week.
I know Paul, but didn't meet it. I didn't see
Oh,
him there,
okay.
but I know him. Yeah.
He was performing at the City Winery in Philadelphia earlier this year. And
Hmm.
they asked me to go down and interview him there, which was great because it wasn't on Zoom. And then he wanted to go see some famous Philly. We went to the Love Statue and the Italian Market and down to the Lincoln Financial Field. And we shot little video things together while we were there.
Hmm.
And he gave me the greatest advice because I found that I was getting too wordy and then I'd forget the words and forget the lines. And he said, don't write your stuff down, get your phone out and speak into your phone what you think your lines should be. Because when you write, you embellish, you write longer, all that kind of stuff. And it was just such a powerful lesson that I've carried with me since February something when I met him. And it's also cut down on me forgetting stuff, which, like I said a couple minutes
Yeah.
ago, was my biggest fear. But I'm curious as to if you look back, at the years that you've been doing this from a comedian standpoint, what would you say are some of your favorite memories so far?
Hmm. People keep asking me these questions like, what's your favorite moment? What's your I don't really, it's all such a blur that I don't really have like any, it just feels like a big blur to be honest. I don't really
Okay.
have like one memory because it's just so much of my life. So
Well, that's why I
like,
always say
what's
some.
your
I never ask
favorite
for one.
memory of life?
Yeah.
Like, I'd have to take time to think about it. So
Well, how
it's
about this?
just too vague of a question for me.
Okay. Are there any, if you look back, the other thing that I'm always curious to know is any particular lessons you learned along the way that come to mind, or especially early on in your career that you really learned from and got better from them?
I mean, I think the main lesson is just don't be afraid of failure, like
Hmm.
just get up as much as you possibly can and don't, it doesn't really matter how many times you fail. It's just you just keep doing it and you will
Yeah.
get better. Everybody that I've seen that sticks with it somehow gets better. And you don't even know how sometimes. You're like, that person wasn't good last year and now suddenly they're good. And you don't know, they
Wow.
don't know how it happened. You don't know how it happened. Like maybe they committed more to writing, maybe they like found a new delivery style, but everyone's sort of on their own path,
Hmm.
So I think if you just stick with it and you just, you don't base it on how many bad shows you have because everyone's going to have bad shows. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think like just getting over any fear of failure to enjoy bombing, to be like, oh, this is interesting.
Yeah, that's well, you know what?
Yeah.
That's a great point. And everybody's told me, it's going to happen. It's not if, it's when. It's going to
Yeah.
happen.
I mean, honestly, when they say, I guess the biggest lesson is like when I started and I had been doing it for like 2 years, and everyone's like, it takes 10 years to get good at this, at
Hmm.
least 10 years, sometimes more. And, you want to think, well, but not me, I'm gonna, I'll be the one. No one is the one. It's true. It takes 10 years to get really good.
Yeah, and I've also heard, and
Then you just surrender. You're like, okay, I'll be, it's gonna be 10 years till I know what I'm doing.
yeah, and just enjoy the journey and try to, I guess, improve along the way. Because as you're saying that, and I've had, to your point, many other people have said that. And the other thing I've heard is it can take 8 to 10 years to find your voice, which I think is also kind of saying the same thing, just in a slightly
Yeah.
different way.
Yeah,
And
or
so,
like Seinfeld says it takes 20 years to sound like yourself or whatever. Or maybe he said
wow.
10, but yeah, 10 years to sound like yourself.
Yeah, I should have started a lot younger. Jeez, I got,
Well, it doesn't matter though, because I think a lot of people start later, and then you know who you are anyway. That's like,
yeah.
that helps a lot because if you start young, you're still trying to figure out who you are. So it's not just finding your voice, it's also like, who am I? You know?
No, no, that's a great point. And I also know that I guess too, having those life experiences to draw from, you're going to have a lot more if you
Yeah.
start a little bit later. Because that's another thing I found that when writing things that are based on truth, like you said earlier, there's a kernel of truth in there
Mhm.
versus just trying to write clever, funny stuff. It's a totally different dynamic. And it's a lot easier for me to remember and deliver because it's based on stuff that actually happened.
Yeah, is that what you're doing? Are you writing truthful life
I'm
stuff?
Yeah, because to be honest, I had a couple of great opportunities so far this year, and one local comedian in the area who's kind of mentored me and offered me some great advice. He watched my reel and he watches my stuff I put on Facebook, and he called me and he said, your writing's great, especially for this point where you're at. Very
Hmm.
clever, a lot of setup punch, setup punch. He said, but I really don't know who you are.
Mm.
Try to write some things that can help people get to know you because I think they're going to like you. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
that's good
wow,
advice. Yeah.
wow.
Is that a
That,
comic
yes.
helping you?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's Joey Callahan. He's been in the Philadelphia area for 25 years or more doing it. I mean, he's been doing it forever. And I had Joey on the show. I've seen Joey perform. And we were having drinks at happy hour one day. And then we had lunch. And over the course of these conversations, he would share this feedback with me. And I just have so much respect for him, number one, for taking the time to do
Yeah.
that and appreciate it. But you know what? He was right. And so I've literally changed everything I've been doing these last several weeks, a couple months now, and hopefully I'm going to be doing something with him before the end of the year. And I'll show him. Here's some real life stuff that hopefully is funny.
What you wanted to tell me an example?
Um,
You don't have to, but I'm just curious.
yeah, well, I talk about when I moved from the city to the suburbs in suburban Philadelphia, I was the only kid in my high school class that lived in an apartment. Everybody else was in a house.
Mm.
And so this apartment that I lived in was right next to, pretty much on top of the trolley tracks.
Hmm.
And every time the trolley would go by, the building would shake. And, I have to tell you, you haven't lived until you tried playing an album on your used GE close and play record player during rush hour when those trolleys are going by every 3 minutes. I mean, I went through more needles than a heroin addict in Kensington, and my records got more scratches than Caitlin Clark driving to the hoop. So that's just one thing I'm in the middle of writing right now about living, in an apartment when everybody else is
I
in the
think it
house.
doesn't need both analogies. I think one is good because
Ah,
once you do one, if you do a second analogy, they already know the joke, so you
okay.
don't need to then do another analogy. Like I like the heroin one.
Okay.
And then you don't have to say like, you can just say, I mean, you don't have to say I mean, you can just say that.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean?
Okay. No, again, Erica, coming from you who, like I said, I meant exactly what I said in the very beginning of this episode that you are one of my all-time favorites. So for you to take the time to listen to me and me, to offer that feedback is incredibly greatly appreciated.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. No, it's a good joke.
Yeah, well, thank you.
I kind of wanted to hear an act out of what it sounded like.
Well,
You know what I mean? I kind of wanted to hear like a song that went.
well, you know what? I'm gonna. The
I
good
want
thing
to
is this
hold
is
your
recorded.
hand. I want to hold your hand.
Oh my God, that's brilliant.
Right? Maybe we should do that.
Yes. Yeah, and as someone who used to
Like,
sing until my voice gave out on me, I could get that sound effect too.
yeah, do it. Like, I want to hold your hand. It's an immediate laugh, right?
Yes. Well,
And
and
and that gives you something playful to do.
yeah, because the thing is, like I said, heroin addict in Kensington, which is an area in Philly. Now it has gained nationwide attention as this place where there's all these druggies that live full time, but a lot of people aren't going to know that reference if I'm not doing it in this area.
Right. Like, what's a song you listened to back then as a kid?
Ooh, um, yeah, I'd be dating myself.
It doesn't matter.
Um,
I mean, you already are with this calling it a trolley.
yeah, that's true. And the close and play record player.
Yeah, you already kind of dated yourself with all the references.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I back then it was a lot of like mid to late 70s rock and roll music. So there was all kinds, whether it was uh Taking Care of Business, Bachman Turner Overdrive, Leonard Skinner, Grand Funk Railroad. So I could go through.
Try to pick something that might be recognizable, something like
Yes.
that.
I had a tendency to listen to artists that maybe weren't mainstream. I just wanted to be different, a little different.
Yeah, well, unless it's something like Led Zeppelin or something,
Yeah.
try to make it something kind of recognizable, but could be a little bit off kilter. But
Yeah, but I want to hold your hand.
yeah, I kind of like, I want to hold your hand.
Oh my God. You that will be the best that'll be the best punchline, yes, that
Yeah,
I've got so far.
I would never normally say to like sing a song, like I don't like when people like either sing a song with different lyrics or like that
Yeah.
can be kind of hacky, but like
Yeah.
this is different because it's such a specific reference of like, you're already visualizing it. So I wanted to also hear it. I wanted it to be like, I
Oh,
mean,
that's
I
great.
want to hold your head.
Well, and you know what else, Erica? What that does is it helps me because one of the things, like I said, when I watch my tapes back, I need to loosen up. There's times when I
Yeah,
just need to
because it
loosen, and
sounds a
that can
little,
help it loosen me up.
I think also if you modify it, so like if you have two analogies, it's like the first one sounds real, and then when you do the second one, now it sounds written, right? Like you
Yeah.
want to sound like you're just thought of it. So if it's too written, it doesn't sound like you just thought of it. But if you do an act out, you're
Okay.
forced to be in the moment and you're forced to be playful, you know?
No, that's phenomenal, and that's something I have not done. That's an
Some act
element.
outs, yeah.
Yeah, that's
It could
an
help loosen you up, you know?
yeah. No, because and I'm still at the point where I could use some help with that from sometime because I'm so focused on getting it right. And then it's funny because back when I was a singer, I used to love doing original songs more so than covers. And one of the reasons why, if I ever messed up the words to one of my original songs, nobody would know. But you
Right.
mess up the words to Stairway to Heaven or Freebird, everybody's going to know.
Yeah, so you're dealing with the same issue that I dealt with when I started stand up as an actress. I was like, I have to get every word perfect because
Yes.
I have to memorize it and then I have to deliver it, which is the same with singing, where you're like, this is my song and I am going to present it now. But like comedy is a little messier,
Hmm.
It's a little bit more like, it's
Yeah.
more modern art like than.
No, that's such a great point. And I remember Drew Dunn telling me that when he writes out his sets, he just uses bullet points.
Yeah, a lot of comics do that. I used to be very meticulous about writing everything out, and then now I'm trying to do more free form until I
Hmm.
find the wording, and then once I find the wording, then I'll write it out.
Okay.
Trying to
Wow.
find it on stage more.
No, this is, I'll tell you, Erica, like I said, I literally, folks, I have to say, I've been looking forward to this conversation for weeks, not even having any idea of even more reasons why I'm going to be glad that I had this conversation with Erica as it's unfolding. So thank you so much for all of it. Now,
Oh,
I'd be remiss if I didn't go back and revisit that rumor that I brought up early on in our conversation. So there is a rumor that I've heard, and I need to ask you about it. So I'm going to put you on the spot. Is
okay.
it
Yes,
true?
I did sleep with Chris Rock. What?
Okay.
Sorry, what?
Yeah.
That's
Wow, that really was
the
true.
one? Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yep.
On my
Yep.
FanDuel account, I bet
That's,
50 bucks that it was a lie.
Cat is out of the bag now.
Man, you heard it here first, folks. I'll tell you what. We're not usually into breaking news, but we just did. Wow.
That
So,
I actually have a memory of this definitely wasn't one of my favorite memories, but since you asked about memories and I was
yeah.
like blanking, I did this show once in New York that was like this hotel and all these models were at the hotel and it was just like the worst situation for comedy, right? Like everybody's in couches, like too comfy, everyone looks super
Oh,
rich. They look like super fancy, like all like top model, like runway models, all like self-conscious looking around and rich business guys. And then Chris Rock comes. And like the first two comics had already gotten up and like everybody was having a tough time. Like no one was really getting laughs. And Chris Rock comes in and like sits at a table and just watches us all squirm up there, like and like enjoying it to the utmost because he doesn't have to perform. And we're all, you could tell we're all struggling. And I get off and I'm like, that was rough. And only a couple of my jokes landed. And then
wow.
the host, his name's Ryan, was like, he goes, Chris Rock asked who you were and said you were funny. And I was like, yeah, I go, very funny. Yeah, I was like, and he goes, no, really. And I was like, yeah, right. Like, I know you're making this up. And then right as he said that, Chris Rock came over and he goes, hey, what's your name? Like, that was really funny. I love this one joke. And he referenced my joke about a guy like showing off his house to me.
Oh, wow.
And like he tried to like brainstorm a punchline, and I kind of was like, but mine meant this, like I was kind of like
Yeah.
defending money. He goes, I don't know what I'm talking about, and I was like, yeah, it's cool. He goes, you know what you're doing, and he was like really nice, and I was like, that was a cool like that felt very validating because
Wow.
just felt like one of the roughest shows you could possibly have done. I was like, how on earth did he see anything good in that? So that
Well,
was a
that's
cool.
amazing. And look at it this way, though. Like you're talking
And then
about
we
that.
had sex in the bathroom.
Oh,
Sorry. Yeah, keep going.
okay. No, but so I was hoping we'd get a few more details now that we knew the rumor was true. Now we know
Yeah.
how it became true and where.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well, like they say, location, location, location.
absolutely. Okay. So now what I have to do is
Don't
before I
take any
go,
of this out of context, by the way. You could really screw me over.
no,
Just
would
take
never do
one
it.
little clip out of context.
Never do it. We don't
Okay.
do that. We don't play that here. We don't do that here. But I do have to mention one other thing that's kind of along the same lines as the compliment you got from Chris Rock, and then we'll come back to the other rumor that that I want to get to.
Really trying to say.
Yes, but here's the thing though, and I know this was true because I saw it, I heard it, I read it, but in addition to Chris Rock giving you that compliment, you also received a compliment from Sofia Vergara, who said you were the best comedian she had ever seen on AGT. So how about that?
Yeah. Yeah, that was quite a compliment. That was very nice. And she
Yeah.
said she was like, and you should have your own sitcom.
Oh, that's right. I do. Yes, she's right. Well, I hope people are watching. I hope somebody's watching that has a connection somewhere that can make that happen. It needs to happen. It needs to happen now.
I don't know if how many sitcoms there are anymore, but yeah, if they're still out there,
Yeah.
I'm free.
Well, I know Leanne Morgan just launched one not that long ago on Netflix that I believe is doing
Yeah,
well.
I know it's
So
a
there's still
very
space for
yeah
it.
yeah it's a very that's a very classic sitcom, that one.
Yeah, it is. Okay. So back to the rumor, the other rumor. Um, Word on the street is that you're coming to the comedy capital of the world, Pottstown, Pennsylvania, on November 19th. So, Erica, is the
Yeah.
rumor true? And if it is, what can we expect to see when you make your debut at Soul Joel's Comedy Club?
Just a whole lot of this.
What else do you
If
need?
you like this, expect more of this. That's what you're gonna see. What you see is what you get. If you like this, picture this in 3D, like real
Oh,
life.
yes, absolutely. And
Like
picture
I'm
me
like,
just sitting there laughing.
yeah, picture me coming through that screen and being in the moment as a full person. I'm 5'5". Some people
Okay.
think I'm taller. I'm 5'5". So if that's cool with you,
Mm,
that's, if you're expecting taller, shorter, I might not be for you, but
I think 5'5" is perfect. It's going to be
five
perfect.
five, about 125 pounds, that's I won't say how old I am. I'm an Aries.
Okay.
I
There
like
we go.
coffee.
It's, you know what? It's going to be, and if more of this, I can't think of anything else that you would want or need than more of this in person.
Yeah,
And
more of this in real life.
yes, well, and I can guarantee you my 6'3", 210-pound body will be there
Wow,
for that
you're
show.
tall. You're very tall. You can't tell from here.
Nah, I get scrunched up in the
Yeah, we're
box.
all
So
this big.
yeah.
Sometimes people will come up and say very weird things to me after the show. They'll be like, "You looked taller on stage," or they'll be like, "You look better closer up." They'll say the weirdest things. So don't say any of those things.
Oh my God. Well, I'll tell you what, I can't wait. I know it's going to be an awesome time. It's November 19th, Soul Joel's. It's a Wednesday night. It's coming, it's right around the corner. It's going to be an awesome time. So, folks, you can get your tickets at souljoels.com. That's souljoels.com, Wednesday, November 19th. Make sure you're there. I'll be there watching all 5'5", 120 some pounds of Erica blow the roof off the place.
Yeah, that's what I meant, is I'm gonna blow the roof off that joint. It's gonna be like a Kansas tornado in there.
Yeah, and you know what else is going to be cool? The hallway coming down to the club, both sides on the walls are adorned with 8 by 10 photos of everyone who's performed there. So
Wow.
Joel's kind of making it like a hard rock, type vibe
Am
there.
I gonna be on the wall?
Yeah, I'm on the wall. You need to
You're
be on
on
the
the
wall.
wall? Oh my God.
Yeah.
You wouldn't believe how many clubs I go to where they just never put me on the wall. And I'm like,
What?
it would be really nice to be on some more walls.
Oh, you are. Oh, all right.
It's like I'm working my way up to it, but like how many thousands of shows do I have to do before I get on a wall?
Well, you could be right next to the Dice Man's leather jacket that's framed on the wall, too.
Wow, yeah, I'll take that spot.
I'm around the corner on the side.
Well, you'll work your way up to the main wall at some.
Yes. We all have to have goals to shoot for, but yes, you're definitely going to be on the wall and there's going to be laughter going all the way around wall to wall on that night. So now that we know where you're going to be on Wednesday, November 19th, what else you got going on the rest of this year going into next year? Anything else happening for you?
Just a lot of road work. I'm like pretty booked through till the spring. So look up my
Wow.
website. I think I have all my dates on Punch Up Live now, Erica Rhodes at Punch Up Live. And then I also have my website, ericarhodescomedy.com. And then yeah, I wrote a film, so I've been pitching that, or
Oh,
like
wow.
sending it. I would like to make this film within 2 years, knock
Huh.
on wood.
What
So
kind of film?
it's a dark comedy about my dad dying.
Oh,
It's funny.
That definitely sounds like a project I'm sure that's near and dear to your heart, and I hope someone picks it up because that's I don't think that's the kind of thing that I mean that would be definitely something different.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, yeah, there are a lot of movies about death, but I like mine because well, it's very personal, but also
Yeah,
it's like happening through the film. So, like, a lot of films, it's either like someone dies at the beginning or,
right.
but this is sort of like the whole film.
Yeah. Well, and it would also be different because it's you and it's from your
Yeah.
perspective. And somebody's definitely got to pick up. Look, you got the film. We got to get you picked up for a sitcom. There's a lot of work that people need to do over these next 6 months to make some stuff happen. So,
Yeah.
and I'm
Tell,
looking forward to
tell
seeing it
Chris
all.
Rock. I mean, geez,
Yeah,
put in my time.
absolutely. Okay, so I've got one last question for you, and this one might be a tough one because it's kind of similar to one that I asked before, but I ask it of everybody, and I'm just
Okay.
always curious to hear. If you were to look back at everything you've done, everything you've accomplished thus far, including being on this show, what would you say you're most proud of?
Besides being on this show,
Yeah.
what am I most proud of? And besides sleeping with Chris Rock,
Oh,
geez, these are
and
both.
getting that off your chest. I think it's a
Yeah,
proud moment to let it out. It's got to be not only proud, therapeutic. There's a,
I
there's a,
mean, it's like been just I've been waiting for the right time and space, and I was like,
yeah,
it's gonna make headlines, and I just want to tell the right person
yeah.
first.
I'm
So,
honored. I truly
yeah,
am.
thank you. You should be. Um, my most proud moment. Um, Geez. It is a hard question because there's so many, many moments. And the more recent moments, I'm proud of the moment that I had with the John Bonet joke just because it was so unexpected and it was
Oh,
and so viral. But that was something that was so unpredictable, just that was more of like a weird, crazy
yeah.
moment. I don't know if it's like proudest moment because proud moments I feel like take a lot of work.
Well, even just maybe an accomplishment, not so much a moment, but is there any particular accomplishment or anything at all from any perspective where you're just proud of something you did or something that happened?
Um,
Because I think your entire body of work and everything you've done and just like hanging in there and just persevering and building what you've built and being where you're
yeah,
at is amazing.
I know. I'm trying to think of if there's like a symbolic proud moment. I will say that even though it might sound silly, that is one of my proudest moments because I felt like I made a situation that's not normally that funny, really funny, but and it might seem like it was just a magical moment, but I had worked on that one joke for months. Like the John Bonet joke wasn't just like a joke that I threw together. I had tried like 20 different punchlines for that joke,
Wow.
and I had sort of slaved over that joke a bit. And so the fact that I found a good punchline that really hit and it happened in the right moment and I felt prepared for it because I had decided I'm going to take this seriously. I'm going to, get enough sleep. I'm going to arrive prepared. I'm going to do my hair, like I actually like thought about everything leading up to it and I was like, okay, so this is what could happen if I really take something like if I start to take everything that seriously, that's kind of what could happen, right? So it was
Wow.
more like a symbolic pride in all the things behind that moment that no one saw. Like no one saw how
Wow.
hard I worked on that one joke, like people who know me know that I tried like 20 different punchlines before I came up with that one.
That
So the idea that it's more like symbolic for me, it's more like that moment is symbolic for what I'm capable of if I commit
mm,
to things. And I don't
wow.
always commit fully, but I would like to get that level of commitment in everything I do potentially.
Yeah, and folks, just to let you know that that moment was on, I believe it was WGN News
Yeah,
when
in
you were being
Chicago.
interviewed on there. And Erica literally had, there were two anchor people. There's a man and a woman on there. And the anchor man, like he was in stitches. Like he couldn't even control his head was down. I think he was crying. He was laughing so hard. He couldn't even talk. I don't even think he could breathe properly.
I went on a date this week, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah, and the guy said I look like John Benet Ramsey. If she were still alive. I was like, you look like the killer if they'd found him. And we had a fun night of role playing. So.
What are you even doing with that?
I think I'll see him again.
What? Hey, you have something to talk about, right? Holy God Almighty!
I think he nailed it.
It's out there. It's
I know.
out there, right?
I thought he was charming. You know.
God. So are you? Get it. Dan, give him a minute.
Yeah.
That was an epic, epic moment. But I love how the way you described it and what symbolically that kind of meant and what you're capable of, because I think
Yeah. Because on the surface, it might just seem like, oh, she lucked out, she got a viral moment, right? But like behind the scenes, it's so much leading up to anything, you know.
Yeah.
And to me, that's symbolic of any amount of success in this business, where like you don't see all the shows that led up to that, you don't see all the different punchlines, you don't see all the news shows that I bombed on, you know. Like I've bombed on so many morning news shows leading up to that. And so, yeah, it's just kind of like you feel like sometimes you just feel like this job, like it can be so thankless, like no one's noticing. But yeah, they don't have to notice everything. Just they notice when something clicks, and
Yeah.
it's not always on your timeline, and it's not always in the setting you would imagine, you know? So
But it's because you were prepared and you were ready for it and you took advantage of that opportunity and leveraged it. It's all those things coming together.
yeah, that's what it felt like. It felt like a symbolic moment of all my hard work paying off in a special moment. So
Yeah.
yeah. And yes,
And
I'd like more of those. I'd like bigger ones. I'd like to have a special that feels like that, or, you know, my movie that feels like that. But I think it made me feel like what I'm capable, like it made me aware of what I'm capable of. And sometimes I think if I'm honest with myself, I don't always fully commit to things. And if I do, I think I would, you know, I think I could be very successful if I really took things seriously. Sometimes I've just kind of been like, I can float through things, you know?
well, I mean, there aren't too many people that could float through and have your dry bar special, which has multiple millions of views. The special, and one of the most incredible things I've seen is your special that was during the pandemic. You were like at a drive-in movie theater. People are in cars, and I'm like,
Yeah,
oh
that
my
was
God, how did she
insane.
do
I
that? That's
still
insane.
can't believe I did that. Like, I still am like, what was I thinking? You know, like if you asked me that today, I'd be like, hell no. Like, never.
Well, when you can bring joy and laughter to people the way you have, just kind of maybe floating through it and maybe not necessarily, maybe given 70 or 80%, whatever the percentage is, I can't even imagine what we have to look forward to when you give it your all like you did, on that night on that newscast. Because I think the possibilities are endless, and we're going to see the next step, at least here in suburban Philadelphia area, on November 19th. In case I didn't mention it, that's going to be the opportunity to see so many of these moments, along with all the other dates on Erica's website, where, like you said, I think through next spring, you've got a lot lined up already, right?
Yeah, I think I have dates through April right now. So
Wow,
yeah,
that's
so check
fantastic.
it out and sign up for my newsletter or whatever,
Okay.
my email list, so that if you do want me to perform in the area.
Okay. Well, there you have it, folks. If you want more of this, that's what you need to do to
More
get.
of this. That's my tagline.
Yeah, there you go. I see a T-shirt, a hat, or a bumper sticker in the offing.
More of this.
More of this. Can't be beat. That's for sure. Well, Erica, I want to thank you again for taking the time out to join me today. I literally had a blast. I can honestly say this is unlike any other conversation I've ever had.
In a good way or a bad way?
Yes.
I I am a little ADHD. Sometimes it's hard to focus on Zoom. I find
Yeah.
Zoom a little bit hard to focus on because my brain wants to go,
No,
somewhere.
I get it. I get it. That's why I can't wait to see you in a couple weeks at Joel's, see you in person, see you come through that box, have some fun, get a chance to meet you in person. And for everybody who comes that night, I know they're going to have a blast. And folks, once again, check that website, sign up for that newsletter, and you'll get more of this. So, Erica, thanks again. Folks, I thank you for watching. Without you, this wouldn't be possible. And we'll see you next time. Oh my God. You are the best.
Did have an audition the other day to play a Swedish secretary. Pretty big part, right? Pretty big part. So there are like a lot of blondes in the waiting room. And I overheard this Japanese guy say, they all look the same. And I was like, dude, that's racist. And he goes, blonde isn't a race. See, this is where the dumb blonde stereotype comes from. And I was like, hold on. I thought all Japanese guys love blonde girls. And he goes, I'm Filipino. It's like, you're such an idiot. I didn't ask for your name.